is the, what, 13th of December, I
Yes.
believe? 2011. And, long overdue. Having some of the materials, and after I had to reorder the patterns, somehow my old ones got lost. I looked all through our storage, couldn't find them. I am going to try to start beginning the process of making a new puppet to, keep Wally some company. So now I'm using a pattern rather than just kind of making my own pattern and guessing and checking, trial and error from the phone book and the video that came with it. So I have some instructions, and we'll get started. We'll see if we can, begin the process. So we'll check up in a little bit. Bye-bye. Alright, so just first step is to cut out all the patterns. So here we go. Foam neck pattern. I don't even know what that is. This long rectangle for the neck. How does that work as a neck pattern? I really have no idea, but I've begun the process of cutting out these patterns. So we'll check back later for another step after that. See ya. Okay, now it's been a while. From around 11ish to about 12:13, I was cutting out the patterns. First step important from making a puppet from the patterns. And so here you can see them all. We got the head, foam head, obviously very important. Here's cover the head in fleece. We got mouth plate felt pattern, mouth plate pattern, two hands, a neck hole neck. I'm not sure how those patterns work. Foam body and the fabric body. So all the basic stuff I need is cut out, ready to go to the next step. Maybe I should look at what it is. Cut out the patterns. Let's see now. Position and trace reticulated foam. Lay the reticulated foam, which I have in there, flat. Position and trace the foam head pattern and the foam neck pattern and the hand patterns. Okay, so that's the next step. So we'll see what we do then and catch you later. Bye. Okay, it's now December 17th, about 11:12 a.m. I am going to go further with my making of a new puppet. Here's the head pattern on the foam that I ordered. Different kind of foam than the stuff I use for Wally. They recommended this on Project Puppet, so I'm trying it. So just got to get this flattened out, and then I'll trace it onto the foam, and we will go from there. See you in a bit. Okay, now I actually just used some pins that I use for the sewing of Wally to pin it into place because the paper was a little folded. So now I can begin the tracing of it, and we'll take it one step further. Hey, okay, so like I said, we're going to start tracing this pattern so I can begin having the new pattern to, build my new puppet. I keep getting it onto the actual paper. So you see it is leaving the mark on the foam.
Oh, that's the foam.
So, yep.
I didn't know that. Now you gonna color it?
Well, they say in the instructions you can dye it, but I think I'm gonna put fleece on it like Wally.
Did you dye the fleece?
Well, I have the same leftover fleece from Wally, but I don't want this new one to be purple, so I need to buy more and dye it another color. I think I want this guy to be green.
Yeah.
So, you see here, start tracing of this pattern. I'm going to try to see what it's like working from someone else's pattern where Wally was very just, making my own trial and error, just using kind of basic methods from that foam book.
Is this the face?
Yeah, this is going to be the head when you put it all together. These different pieces come together in an interesting way to make the head, and it shows pictures of it in the instructions that I have. You see, it's a seam stop. That shows you how they connect when you fold the pieces of foam together. Once I cut it out. Done with that one. Alright, so there I've traced that head pattern, and then I'll just look at what other ones need to be cut out of this type of foam before I cut this one to make sure I have the right space before I do any cutting. So I'll get back to that in a little bit. See ya. Alright, well now I've pinned down the foam neck pattern and the two foam hand patterns, and I actually used exactly enough, all the pins that I had in my pin cushion. I'm sure I have more pins, but those are all the ones I had in from previously making Wally. So now I can trace these and I still have extra foam, so I know I'm good to cut out the foam head. So we'll start with the tracing of these and catch up later. Bye. Okay, so here you can see they came out pretty well traced. I took the patterns off. Got the hands, the neck, and the head. It looks pretty even, pretty nicely traced if I do say so myself. And we will begin the cutting with my X-Acto blade. So let's see how it comes out there. Okay, so ready to cut. I have my X-Acto blade, so we shall begin. It said to cut it perpendicular, so I think that means this way. Just gotta start, cut.
It's like a snuggle, snork.
Well, yeah, I think it looks that way right now. It's kind of funny. Why is it? It's taking a little doing. Get a little deeper. Alright, starting to make the cut. Yeah, that is a sharp edge, just double checking that. Okay, here we go. Change the angle now. Start a little, just do this to get in there.
Am I filming the whole thing?
No,
Oh, okay. I was just because my hands
just-
got to get in a little.
I was just gonna say it's gonna take way too long.
Yeah. Just to get the idea.
Okay, so if you pull back a little, see we made our first cut pretty clean.
Yeah,
I
very
do say so
nice.
myself, and I will work my way around, and we'll check back when it's cut. See you later. Alright, here we have the foam head pattern all cut out. I think I did a pretty good job. Pretty neat, pretty clean. You know, there may be a little rough around the edges at certain parts, but that's to be expected. So the hands and neck are there, but I'm glad I got the main head part finished, and we'll work from there. See ya. Alright, so we have the foam head pattern cut out right here. Now we begin to shape it into the head, because right here it kind of looks like a face like this. It's a big wide kind of alien head where the eyes are over here, and it has this big crazy snork thing, and it's his mouth like hello, but that's not how it ends up being. So right now what we're going to do is, it says here to attach seam 1 and seam 2, seam 1 and seam 2, so that's going to be boom and boom, and then the next step is this seam, seam 3. So it's going to, all those pieces are going to come together, and then we'll take it from there. So first I have, the hot glue has been heating up, So we just, you can see on here, can you get a good view? Here our dog friend is getting the hot glue. Well, on just one edge it says, not both. Put it almost up to the edge, but not quite. Okay, and then I will gently, lightly apply that and hold it in a natural looking position. That's it. So, you know, I don't want to push it too hard because it'll squinch the foam. So, just hold it like this for a while, and then I'll work on the other side and from there. So while it's drying, we don't want to just stare at it, so we'll come back later. Okay, so it was a little tricky at times where the hot glue left a string or you know, it was pouring over onto the foam core. See, I had a little melted stuff and I scratched it off with my fingernail. But you know, it's pretty well together now. It's as much as, you know, foam and hot glue, simple, soft materials can be. It's, you know, not welding metal or anything crazy like that. So, you know, it looks alright. And I'll continue on to the number 4 seams, which are these little guys right here. Just plop and plop. So, yeah, we'll try that. See you in a bit or so ago. I finished gluing seams 1, 2, 3, and the 2 4s up here together to build a new puppet head. And the next part, it says, is to glue in the upper mouth plate, which is made of foam core, which I haven't traced and cut yet. So I got to do that before I do more hot gluing of anything. So I'll do that, and we'll get back to it. But it's coming along nicely. Okay, now I'm going to trace the mouth patterns on the foam core. So that I could do that because that was the next part to attach to the foam, which is odd because they say upper and lower, and I think you're just supposed to make 2 of them. And I always thought they had to be attached, and then maybe you like scored the middle part so that you can do the up and down motion. But here they're not attached, so somehow I'm not sure when you have your hand in there what's going to be keeping it together at, you know, at the joint. But I'm sure they know what they're doing at Project Puppet. Maybe you use a pattern of fabric and that joins them. So we'll figure it out as we go. But for now, let's see, just trace. One. And trace. 2. Had some of this foam core for quite some time, using it to block out windows, light, and just to rest things on. So it's actually coming in handy now as a working space to work with cutting things, so I'm not cutting on the table. And now because I need it for the mouth, you know, I made Wally's mouth straight out of foam because I wanted it to be where he could, you know, kind of express and bend his mouth, though I used the accidentally too thick foam, so it doesn't really work that well. But this recommends foam core, so you have flat mouth flaps. So I'm going with that, and yeah, now while we're in this same video, I'll just begin to cut them out so we can see the process all at once. This is thankfully a little easier to cut than the foam, where you have to go back and forth a lot because of the you know, the fibers holding it together. You can just kind of cut and turn and just dig in to get all the way through it, and then, you know, you just kind of pull it along as you go with the corners, the curves. Pull back a little bit here and there as needed. Be very careful, obviously, when using a blade. As it comes to this end, slow it down a little, and pop! There we go. There's a mouth plate. So I'll cut the other one, and I'll check them out later. See you then.